Hey guys, so this weekend I do personally feel like is probably, our most highly active and critical energetic activation point that we have going on all year of this 2024 year. Of course, this weekend is hosting this much anticipated exact to the degree minute alignment of Jupiter and Uranus in the sky. Big change is represented here. This is bringing blessings and blessings in disguise as well, but things could get a bit shaky this weekend. It's also definitely disrupting comfort zones and bringing unexpected events, definite changes of plans, and it's probably honestly like changing our future outlook somehow. Whatever goal we were working towards, whatever we thought was happening, we might find is being a bit realigned as we move forward in this energy. Now, it's not just this activation that we have playing out, the exact conjunction cazimi between Jupiter and Uranus. There are a lot of background aspects that are hitting exactly this weekend as well, which are really telling us the full story about how this energy is functioning. And I will tell you guys, it is a lot about spiritual breakthroughs, spiritual awakening, activating the spiritual warrior within us, sort of like a spiritual and soul revival on some level. We're conquering demons, you guys. We are breaking ourselves free away from and out of maybe some of the limiting patterns or beliefs or the subconscious programming that may have been a very powerful influence over us in the past. We've got really intense alignments happening. We've got very powerful symbolism that is confirming the alignments coming through. And generally, this is just an epic point in time in terms of the energetic unfolding history that is before us right now. So that being said, you guys, it's probably going to be a long report today. We've got a lot of energy to get into. Going to be talking about the exact chart of the cazimi alignment, the degree minute alignment between Jupiter and Uranus, energy for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all of that and more, you guys. Let's get into it. Talk about how things are unfolding and how they might be impacting our experience as we move through this energy. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Friday, April 19th, 2024. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the weekend, where we are narrating the shift of the ages, and we have reached a critical moment in our narration of that shift of ages that is underway. I do, honestly, in the greater cosmic scheme of things, think that this is probably like one of perhaps several, but a significant one of like these like launch points sort of into the pending age of Aquarius that we are transitioning into, that we talk all about on this channel. We've got a lot of energy happening this weekend that is indicating not only, the entire sentiment of the Great Awakening energy, but also a spiritual awakening, also sort of like a launch forward into a new phase of our own lives where we are on a path that is bringing us more directly along an evolutionary course of self-actualization, taking back personal power, rediscovering our authentic truth, aligning ourselves with our true potential and our true purpose, and ultimately activating a destiny perhaps that we didn't know we were moving towards, but now we're coming to understand it. Our entire life has been preparing us for these moments and, these opportunities and the shifts and changes that we are finding ourselves stepping towards right now. Monumental moments in time, epic change going on. There could also be a lot of fears, a lot of shadows, a lot of demons from the past that are rearing their ugly heads, somehow associated with the awakening and the changes that are going on right now. This is also very much representing release from karmic cycles, generational, like curse type of energy. The slates are being wiped clean in a lot of ways, but it's because we have gone through the necessary lessons to release ourselves from a lot of these karmic burdens and karmic patterns of the past. And we're going to come to find that a lot of us are, as we move through this period of time, that is really the foundation of a lot of the changes going on. There is also like a collective healing that is incorporated with this as well. Although, you know, in some cases there may be a phase of wounding that is actually coming first, which will lead to this greater healing and our ability to actually release ourselves from, again, some of these karmic cycles or limiting beliefs or maligned views of ourselves, our identity, and again, our potential and our purpose. We are talking about a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. Jupiter is truth, okay? Jupiter is wisdom. This is the higher perspective. This is the great benefic also, and it has a lot to do with like what is true and what is right and what is, you know, righteous, what is in integrity. And Uranus, this is a planet all about authenticity, and we're talking about this happening in the sign of Taurus. It has everything to do with resources and potential and what we do with those to build or to grow something physical, tangible, material that can provide a sense of beauty or abundance or comfort somehow in our material world, okay? So when we're talking about this alignment that is happening, this is awakening. Uranus brings disruptions, but Uranus is also the galactic fixer and rules awakening to a future potential or to, you know, some type of higher knowing. And with Jupiter there, this is literally a period of time that has everything to do with awakening to some higher truth of resources, potential, value that is held within, that maybe we have been blind to, that maybe we've been sleeping on somehow, as this is awakening energy. And not only that, what we can do with it to Taurus, you know, the sign of the builder, to build, to grow, to create something that is of true, real, and lasting material, 3D, tangible value. All right. So this is redesignation of value is going to go on in a lot of ways, microcosm, macrocosm, and it's going to also lead to a re-empowerment of the individual. Another really important facet of the way this energy is coming together right now in these times in general, outside of this specific aspect, is the decentralization of power. Pluto is in Aquarius right now. This is a planet that is very active this weekend as well, and Pluto in the sign of Aquarius is re-empowering the individual, and it is decentralizing power. It's also waking us up to perhaps some things that we have been unaware of that have caused us to surrender our power and to not trust ourselves. All right, and that's another aspect of the way that this energy is coming together. We are going to learn to trust ourselves. We're going to learn that we are stronger and more courageous and more capable than we thought. And honestly, there's going to be opportunities coming in right now that are going to really shift our life paths and trajectories. Like I think it's going to be a relatively common experience right now where we thought our life was going in one direction. We thought we were moving towards a certain goal or vision or outcome or set of goals. And I think that a lot of people are going to experience something happening right now, which either like, you know, tips that whole thing upside down on its head, or just, you know, really changes the way that we thought things were going somehow. And another thing, you know, I've been saying this in my past couple of videos because it's true. Both Jupiter and Uranus represent blessings. Jupiter is a great benefic. Jupiter is notorious for, you know, good luck, good fortune, positivity, optimism, hope, faith, belief, like bringing in the goodness, blessings, and, you know, luck, okay? Uranus, the galactic fixer, the great awakener, but also known for bringing silver linings and blessings in disguise. Because Jupiter is all, you know, Jupiter along the lines of everything I described, another characteristic associated with Jupiter, of course, is the planet of expansion and supersizing energy. On one hand, this is like positive surprises, good surprises when we have Jupiter and Uranus together, but it is also massive, supersized, amplified change because the Jupiter energy is applying to the Uranus energy, and Uranus is the great disruptor, the galactic galactic fixer, the great awakener, but Uranus makes the changes for us that we haven't been able to make for ourselves. Uranus, I always describe it this way, it's an energy that facilitates future potential to come to pass. Uranus has a lot to do with the future, and it's because it makes the changes for us that we haven't been able to make for ourselves to ensure a certain destiny or outcome is able to be arrived at, whether or not we are intentionally moving ourselves in that direction. So a lot of times when we're talking about Aquarius and Uranian energy, has a lot to do with the future potential of things, because that is what this planet sees and seeks to bring into fruition in, the moment or in the long run or like whatever. So it can be a very prophetic energy, and it has a lot to do with the highest possible outcome of unfolding events and what needs to be rearranged in order to get there. Now, of course, we're moving into the age of Aquarius, right? And we have Pluto in Aquarius. The way I'm seeing things right now, and of course, this is just my perception and interpretation as an astrologer and energy reader. Everybody's got their own ideas of what's going on out there and when the formal shift into the age of Aquarius is going to be. And just from my personal perspective, my little viewpoint, as a result of Pluto in Aquarius right now and all of this other energy that we've had going on, and this particular conjunction and the highlighting of the Aquarian and the Uranian energy right now generally, I feel like we are currently in a 20-year process of rooting, anchoring, tying the Aquarian frequencies to the physical plane, with Pluto now transiting Aquarius for 20 years. I feel that over that point in time, we will become more enmeshed physically in our 3D reality with those frequencies. And I feel like that is the bridge. This is the bridge that is formally transitioning us into the beginning of the age of Aquarius energies, which will then take hold and begin to grow and accelerate and dominate the paradigm over the course of the next 2,000 years. So I think that this is the buffer between ages is quite extensive, multi-100-year periods between, being in a true age of Pisces and a true age of Aquarius. But I do feel like because of the Pluto Aquarius element of things happening now with the Jupiter-Uranus and all these other aspects that we're going to talk about today, not to mention this big eclipse that we just had, if you guys have been following along the past couple of years that I have been narrating the shift of the ages on this channel, it really kind of all comes together nicely, considering, where we've been, where we're coming from, what's been going on, and what is going on now. And, as a result of that, and in order to Uranus, facilitate that future to come to pass, the changes that are happening now, big changes, are making the changes for us to get us in alignment with our current path to self-actualization on whatever level that may be for us in the context of our personal awakening. This is going to be different for everybody, okay? Some people, you're not even going to be able to notice any type of an apparent change, but that doesn't mean that there has not been a shift within their energy body, within their, paradigm. Some people, it's going to be drastic. You are going to see, I do think that we're probably going to see people acting radically different. Not everybody, but some people just totally reinventing themselves, totally recreating themselves, totally. And it's going to come from a shift in personal values and priorities as well. And again, discovering the truth of who we are, the truth of, our potential, of our capabilities, of our interests, of our passions, and an ability also to detach from any energies from the past that may have blocked, hindered, or just generally kept us blinded to those facets of ourselves, and therefore in a state of surrendering power somehow. Remember, this next 20 years is really going to be about, and we'll look back and we'll see it, we'll see future proofs past, when we're looking back historically at this period of time, we will recognize that there was some type of transition of power from a regulated central authority to a more deregulated, decentralized, individual power source, where then individuals are becoming much more really like in control of the nature of our own lives, of our own destinies. And that is going to happen over time as a result of the way that we are taking back our personal power now, essentially, is what this is boiling down to. And the way that our mind frames and our perspectives are shifting. And, you know, we're realizing where we've held ourselves back, you know, how maybe our fears have limited us, how maybe our beliefs have limited us, and awakening to a lot of truths, gaining a lot of awarenesses about things that we just maybe had no idea were going on, or we hadn't had the capacity to see in the past. This is also going to be people gaining an awareness and a realization of things that were happening like right in front of their face, but for whatever reason, they just were like unable to see before. I don't know. It just seems like how it's going to be. And I'll also tell you guys, there is a lot of spiritual support here for us right now. Divine interventions, miracles are going to be a part of the way that this energy expresses, and also just some really weird, unexplainable stuff. I'm trying really hard in this energy to kind of like slow myself down and pace myself, because there is so much powerful information that is presenting over the course of this weekend, energetically, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I don't want to miss any of it because the connections are like so like magical to me almost. But so I'm consciously trying to like slow myself down and not get lost on weird tangents and just pace myself and stuff. But I do want to say, like, the symbolism coming through here is really amazing in consideration of what is also happening with the aspects, with the transits, you know, with these activations and stuff. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm kind of giving like a summary of the way that I feel like this energy is, you know, like the main points, okay? And then I am going to go back and I'm going to talk about Friday in isolation, Saturday, and then also Sunday, because Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, although Saturday is, you know, technically the day where we do have the Kazemi, although it is happening like overnight. It's happening at technically, it's actually happening on April 21st at 1:03 Universal Time, but that translates to 9:03 p.m. on April 20th Eastern Time. So really, like, depending where you are in the world, that's what's going to dictate whether it's happening on the 20th or the 21st for you. But very early hours of the 21st, or, you know, later in the day on the 22nd, depending on where you're at. But the position of the sun, you guys, now remember, Uranus is the lightning planet, okay? Uranus is an energy that is synonymous with the Tower card in the tarot deck, which is all about lightning striking the tower, which of course is like an upheaval, a disturbance, like it causes a big shakeup, but it's not necessarily, it's, at the end of the day, Uranus energy always brings a silver lining. It's always blessings in disguise. It's always the change that needed to happen, but that we wouldn't make because we were either too afraid or too uncertain, or we didn't know how to get it done. Universe gets it done, and it's the lightning hitting the tower energy. And Uranus is also the energy that is associated with like the ether and energy moving through the air. You know, it rules Aquarius, which is this air sign, fixed air. Like, it's about things streaming back and forth, energy flying, electricity flying through the air. And we have literally the position of the sun when this alignment is playing out, 2 degrees of the sign of Taurus. That's the symbolism, or the symbolic placement. And that Sabian symbol is an electrical storm illuminates the heavens and the forest, okay? Like, literally confirming exactly what this specific alignment is bringing. It's the heavens and the forest, the heavens and also what's in the darkness and what's hidden in the underworld. And I'll tell you, the darkness and what's hidden and the underworld is a huge theme being presented right now as well. Spiritual battle of the ages is underway, you guys, and you know what? The light wins this time. So we already know the outcome of the story, but this is energetically like literally what is playing out. The position of the earth when all this is happening Saturday into Sunday is at 2 degrees of Scorpio. That Sabian symbol is a broken bottle and spilled perfume, okay? So it's all coming out. We also have, let's go through some of the symbolism, and then, we'll go back and talk about more of the symbolism as we get to the aspects associated. But remember, the position itself where Jupiter and Uranus come together, and I've already talked about this degree in the past 2 videos, that Sabian symbol 22 Taurus is a white dove flying straight and fearlessly over troubled water. And to emphasize that, that concept and theme of sort of like not getting sucked down into negative emotions and maintaining the hope and maintaining the faith and like riding on our faith over what may be turbulent and scary and churning, sort of, especially on an emotional level under us, an adherence to our faith, not losing hope, like that is the way that we navigate this energy. And that is again being emphasized by the placement of both Mars and the Black Moon, who coincidentally enough, synchronistically enough, happen to be coming into an exact opposition with each other at 23 degrees Pisces Virgo when we have this alignment playing out. This is a big deal, you guys, and we're going to talk a lot more about it as we move through the energy of this report. But right now, I'm just bringing up the symbols associated. 23 degrees of Pisces, where Mars is a materializing medium giving a seance. 23 degrees of Virgo, where the Black Moon is, a lion tamer rushes fearlessly into the circus arena. So just like the white bird, the white dove flying straight and fearlessly over troubled water, we have the word fearlessly being represented 2 times, the exact same word, fearlessly, twice in our symbolism that is directly applying to exact activations happening right now. And one of them is straight up the position of Jupiter and Uranus in their conjunction. The other one is the position of the Black Moon in an exact opposition to Mars and Pisces, okay, the spiritual warrior. So a materializing medium giving a seance, divine intervention, divine assistance, divine guidance, and adherence to our faith, aligning with our higher selves, allowing the Christ consciousness that may be infiltrating our reality somehow over the course of the weekend to be the support system that we're leaning on if we're coming up against fears that may feel very daunting in this energy, especially perhaps fears of failure or fears of major change. The lion tamer rushes fearlessly into the circus arena. There is an energy going on right now, you guys, about facing our fears, and we're conquering the fears. The fears also, to a large extent, are going to be an illusion. Because when we're talking about a lion tamer running fearlessly into the circus arena, this is an act, okay? Like this is not being out in the jungle and having to fight off by yourself against a vicious beast. Like this is something that, we've done before, okay? And we know how to do it, and you're going to know how to do it. And we have like tremendous spiritual support in our process of overcoming, of conquering. We're slaying demons, okay? We are proving to ourselves, without even trying. This is not going to be intentional. This is a lot of times going to be something that we're actually just like reacting to, but we're going to come to find that we are a lot stronger, a lot braver and a lot more capable than maybe we thought we were in the past. And this is going to change our personal paradigm. That is going to change the way that we are interacting with life and reality moving forward, which is what this whole period of time is about right now. It's about reversing the inversions. Anywhere, again, where we have been living or acting or believing or thinking in a way that is detrimental to the expression of our own true potential and the activation of like our legitimate soul destiny and evolution in this lifetime. That is what we are getting put back on track right now to move towards, whether it be, something that's happening physically, something that's happening mentally, something that's happening spiritually, something that is happening subconsciously. That's another major aspect of the energy as it's coming through this weekend. There is a subconscious force, okay? Subconscious programming, okay, that perhaps is stemming from very old wounds, okay, that perhaps has actually been a very, very powerful, though maybe unconscious influence over our lives, over our behavior, over our thought processes, over the situations that we've gotten ourselves into and the experiences of life that we've been involved in so far, and a conscious will, okay? A conscious awakening to authentic truths, and sort of the battle going on between the subconscious programming that maybe controlled us unknowingly in the past and the awakening to perhaps this subconscious programming and the conscious choice now to use our will and to use our awareness to make different choices, to break a pattern, to break a cycle, to do something different, to view ourselves different, to take back power somehow, okay? And it may not be us like consciously choosing to do that. In fact, a lot of times when Uranus is operating, as I continue to repeat, these are the changes we haven't been able to make for ourselves. So, this is, could be something that you didn't know was going on, or you haven't been able to do, or you thought was impossible, whatever. But all of a sudden, it's coming about in this energy, and we're realizing what we were doing wrong, or we're just getting this epiphany, this flash of insight, or perhaps we're just waking up one day and just feeling totally different, wanting different things. But regardless, this is an opportunity to break free on some very profound levels from patterns that we have been ingrained in that are no longer contributing to our personal growth. And when we're talking about Jupiter and Uranus together, especially in the sign of Taurus as well, this is also indicating shocking, sudden, unexpected Jupiter, growth, expansion somehow. So whatever truth we're awakening to is ultimately leading to our growth. And we know that also because of another aspect of how this is all playing out that I've been talking about a lot over this past couple of videos. Venus right now is ruling the position of Jupiter and Uranus in their conjunction. Venus is in a conjunction with the North Node, which is a destiny point. So not only do we know that this is about shocking, sudden growth with Jupiter and Uranus together, but it's fated, it's destined. Like it has to be that way. Like this is the next course in honestly, the evolution of humanity. Like humanity as a species is going through an accelerated evolutionary process starting now, over the next 20 years and, beyond into the age of Aquarius. And I do honestly think by the time that we get to the end of the 2,000-year period of the age of Aquarius, I do think that the humans that are existing in that energy are literally going to be physically, mentally, and spiritually different from and an evolved version of humanity now. Like I literally think that going through the age of Aquarius, there are going to be changes that go on like in our actual brains that have some type of physical impact in like changing, just like some type of like evolutionary step of humanity somehow. I don't know, but that like energetically, like that's how it seems. Like that's like the way that things are going, that seems like what the outcome would eventually have to lead to. So that's why I'm saying that, you know what I mean? But so all of that, you guys, all of that, that symbolism, very powerful. The fact that there's the word fearlessly presenting twice in the context of Jupiter and Uranus, the great awakener or the great fixer, but also the great benefic. These are positive changes. We do not need to have fear. Things probably are going to seem scary. Like again, like shaking foundations. There could be literal earthquakes. There could be like our status quo or our comfort zone just totally getting blown to smithereens. And people are going to be, Mars and the Black Moon in opposition. And we also, the thing that I haven't even gotten to mention yet, which I'm going to be talking about, we also happen to have an basically exact Sun square Pluto from Taurus in Aquarius when this is all going on as well. And that's also, a face-off between the Sun, the life force energy, and the Lord of the literal underworld, okay? In the signs of Taurus, where the Great Awakening energy is happening, and the sign of Aquarius, ruled by Uranus. Huge, huge, huge energetic activations that are awakening us to something that is changing our entire paradigm and the way that we are doing life going forward somehow. But let's go back now, okay? Let's start at the beginning and work our way through the Cazimi chart and then into Sunday. I will put the Cazimi chart up here when we get to that energy so you guys can take a look, because it's really just like such a powerful chart. So much happening at once. Energetically, this weekend is literally just like off the charts. But let's start with Friday now, okay? Friday, we have an energetic shift going on. The sun is leaving Aries, moving into the sign of Taurus that's doing two things, okay? Sun moving into the sign of Taurus, that is the sign where Jupiter and Uranus are together. That, of course, is adding weight and adding a greater even sense of charge and like energetic amplification to what is already this like super powerful, hypercharged energetic atmosphere with that conjunction there. So the sun joining the sign that is hosting this conjunction is going to bolster that energy. Number two, the sun entering the sign of Taurus is, as I just mentioned, setting up a fixed square with Pluto in the sign of Aquarius. This is amplifying the power of the energy of the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction even more, and, indicating, again, the transformative aspect of what is going on right now. The death and rebirth, endings and beginnings, revival, purge, purification, but ultimately revitalization of the energy body in a way that is taking power from a centralized, condensed form to a decentralized form that is restoring personal power to the individual, which is what this aspect, Jupiter and Uranus together, is also indicating, considering Venus ruling that energy is where? In the sign of Aries with the North Node, also with Chiron, that's another thing I haven't gotten into yet. Chiron is at a very powerful degree while we have all this going on as well, and we'll get there, okay? But first of all, Friday, sun enters Taurus, starts bolstering the energy of the conjunction between Jupiter and Uranus, and starts to bring us into contact with the fixed square between Pluto, Aquarius, and the sun, Taurus, which again is putting more emphasis on Venus. And we'll get to that as well. Actually, we'll talk about it now, because Venus is in a very interesting stellium of planets as well. She happens to also be in an exact Cazimi with Mercury retrograde on Friday. Venus and Mercury retrograde are at the same degree in the sky. And she's also in a stellium with the North Node, the destiny point, and with Chiron, the wounded healer, teacher, master archetype, where we do what, you guys? Where we break cycles of victimhood and transition through a process of alchemization and transmutation of our lower states and our fears and our weaknesses into a place of personal power via the wisdom that we gain through experience, and then our ability to release ourselves from the trauma, the wounding, the states of victimhood from the past, because we finally, ultimately, and I talk about this regularly on the show as well, Chiron in its highest octaves represents forgiveness and release from the wounds, the trauma, the states of victimhood in the past. And that's actually how we arrive at the self-mastery aspect of the Chiron archetype, because Chiron energy ultimately realizes, and it's hard to see it this way until you've gone through the hero's journey and you really have experienced the deeper aspects of the Chiron archetype, that ultimately some of our greatest power is going to come from our greatest pain, okay? Some of our greatest wisdom is going to come from our greatest weaknesses. The suffering that we have endured ultimately becomes the wings that we grow after we phoenix up from the ashes of whatever has destroyed us and broken us down. And that is what the hero's journey, that's what the Chiron archetype ultimately teaches us. And it's something inherent that happens within us. It's not something that you can really teach anybody else. Chiron energy is all about leading through example, because when you go through that process, you ultimately do come to a point where you recognize the wisdom that you now hold, and the personal power over your lower self and your lower nature, the Christ consciousness really that you've gained through whatever suffering you have endured becomes, it's not that it's worth it, but we learn to see the things that wounded us as the catalyst to our own growth, to our wisdom, to our personal power, which ultimately translates into a state of self-mastery and co-creation that resonates to, the true gold of the soul and this experience and the freedom that's associated with that. The Chiron energy, the Chiron point where Chiron was discovered is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and the value and the worth that we recognize in our suffering when we get to the point of power derived from pain is what allows us to actually forgive the things that happen to us. And that sentiment right there, being able to come to a place where we legitimately energetically can forgive things, that is what releases us from the attachment and from their grip over, us in the past, because it shifts us subconsciously in such a way where we're no longer going to attract those same experiences into our lives because, we have released ourselves. We become on one level like our own hero, and we don't have to go through those experiences anymore because we've learned the lessons associated with them. That is also what this time is really all about right now. That is what that big eclipse that we just had, that's what that was all about as well. And this whole 2024 year with all this very heavy Chiron energy is all about that as well. So when we're talking about Venus in a conjunction with Mercury exactly on Friday, in a conjunction with Chiron, and in a conjunction with the North Node, while we're coming into position with Sun square Pluto and Mars and Black Moon coming together, there's a lot of energy, you guys, that has us facing off against our demons, facing off against our darkness, facing off against the shadows. But we've got this faded Chiron energy, this faded healing, this faded forgiveness, this faded release, this faded, finally moving on, finally turning the page, finally healing enough on a soul level where we can come to the point of the forgiveness or the release or the transcendence or the transmutation or the alchemization, or, however it's playing out within us and our energy body, that is putting us in the place of personal evolution, a greater state of self-mastery and a conscious awareness and ability that we're using to create going forward instead of being controlled essentially by our subconscious triggers stemming from that trauma and that victimization that is many times associated with the early Chiron energy. Because when we're dealing with Chiron energy, as I said, this is all about learning how to take your suffering and change it into your strength. If there's no suffering, if there's no wounding, if there's no trauma, if there's no victim experience, if there's no lack, okay, then there's no ability to alchemize. If there's no lead, there's no gold when we're talking about transmutation and alchemization and the Chiron energy. And again, it's interesting because Chiron is the alchemist, and Chiron is also about the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And alchemy, of course, when we think about it in a physical way, it was about changing lead into gold. And this energy is about changing states of weakness into strength, victimhood into self-mastery. But that can't happen, unless we go through whatever is necessary to set that ball rolling to bring us to that greater state. So, and I've been saying, a lot of people are just going to be getting started on their Chiron journey right now and are going to probably be facing some very difficult challenges as they go through this rectification, things getting put back on track, or the Great Awakening. A lot of people are going to come to a point where they have been suffering, they have been going through the hero's journey, they have been learning these lessons, and now it's time for that segment of, humanity to step forth and be the leaders through their example for the ones that are just getting started on the process right now. So, we've got the leaders that are being initiated right now, and we've also got people who are in the early phases of just starting out on their journey. So your universe provides and protects you guys. We've got, you know, we've got solutions and remedies to the problems that may be arising right now. But really, ultimately, I feel like this energy is setting the stage or putting things in place for really what's going to come together over the next 2,000 years. Like, I feel like it's the beginning of the age of Aquarius, to put it in the most simplistic terms. Okay, so that's really kind of a big deal, you know, Venus in that stellium right now, while we've got the Taurus energy highlighted and we've got the square going on between the sun and Pluto. Feels like momentous corrections to me. Okay, you know, as I've said, that's what this is about, the galactic fixer. On the more mundane level, you know, redoing agreements, relationships, connections, bringing in unions, partnerships, information, connecting people, opportunities, very creative ideas. This is a very, very creative, like, genius level. Like, oh, I'm talking about, like, a lot of people are going to be just hit out of nowhere with like absolutely genius ideas, especially in terms of like inventions and solutions and remedies to like long-standing health stuff. There's going to be tremendous healing, innovation, and technology that comes through this as well. And it's all about helping us to heal from the past via an awakening or a wisdom or an awareness that we're gaining and move forward in this brand new direction somehow. This energy is going to be breaking up stagnation, you guys, bringing in also unexpected news and information, of course, as a part of all of this, awakening to things that have gone on in the past that have not been so good, or that have been, you know, inverted somehow, or that have been maligned, or that have just been blocking us or keeping us blinded to something. And the current awareness that we are likely to gain, regardless of the way that it's coming about. And it's going to be, you know, especially throughout the Taurus themes, you know, we're talking about finances, economies, food supply, resources, assets, building supplies, projects, all types of stuff, love and money, partnerships, alliances, all that type of stuff. There could be some real awareness that we're gaining somehow that creates sweeping transformation and dynamic change. Spontaneous spiritual awakenings, people suddenly totally changing their priorities and their values and their behaviors as a result. And again, people are going to be conquering like old issues, old weaknesses, old hangups, old demons from the past, freeing ourselves to expand beyond previous limitations. This is also, you guys, like breaking the chains energy, but it's through the wisdom that we've gained and our willingness to get off the merry-go-round, okay, to get off the hamster wheel. Like, people are going to be making different choices, doing things differently without even realizing it. This is not going to be something that people are trying to do. I think that this is going to be like organic happenings that are just spontaneously coming about and don't go back to how they were before. Facing the fears and overcoming them. Fearlessness, you guys, as we move through this energy. And people, you know, that aren't paying attention to astrology right now, that aren't up to their neck in like the spiritual information of the times that we're in right now, probably going to be a bit on edge, losing their mind. Okay, people, lots of mental health problems coming up right now. People literally losing their heads, losing their minds, losing control, spinning out of control, just unable to get it together, okay, unable, like anxiety and overwhelm in some real big ways, lots of movement, lots of chatter, lots of noise. This is a very, very busy energy, and there is a charged atmosphere. Hypercharged atmosphere, the biggest charged atmosphere they're probably going to see for another at least 12 years, and that we've seen, okay, for probably the past 12 years. Yeah, electricity in the air in some big ways. Self-doubt, worry, kind of like this sense maybe that like the sky is falling on some ways. There could be like a kind of like collective hysteria that is playing out somehow, but it's gonna be okay, you guys. This is not energy that is like breaking things down for the worse. Yeah, there's going to be breakdowns. And I mean that quite literally, actually, as we get into the energy of Saturday. And we do have this Cazimi come into alignment, and we do have the near exact square between the sun and Pluto. Sun square Pluto, just for any reference, you guys, a lot of times this can bring like breakdowns in like heavy machinery and stuff like that, like big, heavy, powerful things just like not working right. And when we're dealing also with not only that, and also the sun in Taurus, this could be like farm equipment and stuff like that, or like big equipment, like building equipment and stuff like that. I bet there's a lot of like breakdowns with bulldozers and stuff. But when we're talking about Jupiter and Uranus together also, this is just totally frying the... There could be internet problems. Mercury is also retrograde. There could definitely be communication breakdowns going on, but mechanical failures, technological issues, things to do with machines and engines breaking down and not working properly. Also, perhaps issues with transactions, payments, deals, and agreements, like literally sparks, a charge, things to do with electricity. Be real careful, you know, with electric devices and like water and stuff like that. There could be like some actual big like lightning storms or earthquakes. I mean, Jupiter and Uranus together, you guys, in the sign of Taurus. Like Taurus is an earth sign. This is like the ground, right? So and you know, Uranus is lightning strike, so there could be some like big lightning strike or electrical storms going on. And remember, the literal actual degree of the sun while this is playing out is to Taurus, and that is an electrical storm. An electrical storm illuminates the heavens and the forests. Okay, so we have symbolism that is like verbatim, word for word, absolutely meaningfully doubling down, okay, on what this energy is itself indicating. If it wasn't in an earth sign, I wouldn't be so like, wow, you know, this looks like we could have some like storms going on. But with that degree, you know, I don't know, but I can tell you weather awareness might be a good thing to practice today, because if it does happen, it's also likely to be very unexpected, shocking, you know, pun intended, and come out of nowhere, because that's what Uranus does as well. And I find it interesting also, the other side of this symbol, the electrical storm. Yeah, but what is it doing? It's illuminating the heavens and the forest. It's illuminating the upper world, right, and the underworld, the conscious and the unconscious, what we, you know, see and know, and our faith and all that, and what is hidden and what we try to hide, and like what lurks in the shadows. So that's what's being illuminated. It's both ends of the spectrum. And as we move forward through this report, you're gonna come to understand, you know, Sun square Pluto, the light versus the darkness, Mars opposite the black moon, the conscious will up against the subconscious programming. It's like we're at this point where it's like, which way is it gonna go? But Jupiter and Uranus together, you guys, the great awakening. This is awakening to those shadows, which the darkness only has power a lot of times, you guys, when we are unaware of it, okay? When you shine the light into the shadows, that reduces and limits the power that darkness is holding there. And that is what is going on, okay? Whether we're aware of it or whether, you know, we're not consciously aware of it, but it's just the way that events are playing out right now that we're seeing things a bit different. This is how this energy is likely to be functioning. It's illuminating both, you know, our like own subconscious programming and our shadows, and, you know, the darkness within us that we fight against, and also our higher selves, our true potential, our, you know, higher purpose and the destiny associated with that. Of course, this is also going to bring up Taurus, resources, value, potential, and purpose, our desire, the courage, and the strength that we have to move forward in the face of challenges, gonna be ignited as we move through this, and a faith in ourselves and a higher power that is stronger than the fears and the limitations that have defined us and overpowered us or caused us to surrender our own power in the past, the spiritual warrior within us all is awakening and becoming alive and active in this energy. A spiritual battle of the ages, as I said earlier, same words, underway and being very much emphasized the way that these transits and activations are coming together. But we are moving into the age of Aquarius. Aquarius is a sign associated with humanity. Humanity wins, you guys. Power is being decentralized, and the individual is re-empowering the self as a function of this process, as universe puts us on a path to self-actualization, because that is the name of the game right now, moving into the age of Aquarius. The power is being put back in the hands of the individual through this great awakening, through this spiritual awakening, through this collective purge, transformation, rebirth that we are energetically experiencing now. And we've also got Chiron, you guys, at 21 degrees of Aries. Now, this brings me to the next element of the spiritual warrior archetype dynamic situation that we have playing out right now. This is also tremendously powerful, like on its own. Chiron's a slow-moving planet, you guys. It takes Chiron ages to transit a sign, to transit, a zodiac. I don't mean literal ages. I just mean Chiron moves really slow. For Chiron to come to this specific degree in the sky, while all of this is going on, it is another one of these just profound synchronicities that cannot be understated, and I want to make sure to give it its due in terms of the weight I feel like that this is carrying in terms of all else that is being indicated right now. Okay, we talked all about Chiron already in this report. But what I haven't said, one thing that I haven't said that may be, a piece of information that you can apply somehow to like all of this that I'm saying. Chiron, not only, the wounded healer, teacher, master archetype, Chiron was also in the mythology, the teacher of all the great mythic heroes. Okay. Chiron is no joke. All right. Chiron happens to be right now, for all of this, the degree in the sky, 21 degrees of Aries, which is also known as the Eris point. It's the point in the sky where the asteroid planetary body Eris was discovered. Eris is very much associated with the black moon energy and archetype. If you guys are familiar with the mythology, I'm not going to go all into it now because this video is already super, super long, but the Sabian symbol placement will tell us really all we need to know about this degree. The Sabian symbol associated with 21 degrees of Aries is a boxer entering the ring. And in this case, you guys, who is that boxer that's entering the ring? The boxer entering the ring is literally Chiron, okay? Chiron is really like the savior in this situation, but it's because Chiron is showing us how to save ourselves at this point in time. Now is when we conquer our demons. The boxer entering the ring, like the fight is on, okay? The spiritual battle is rumbling in some real powerful ways, but we've got Chiron as our guy on the field. Like, that's so significant, especially, North Node and Mercury retrograde and Venus ruling all this energy right now in the conjunction with Chiron as well. But at this degree, and actually as we move into the energy of Sunday, we are going to have Chiron and Venus in an exact conjunction at the Eris point. Venus, of course, ruling the placement of both the sun and Jupiter and Uranus in their conjunctions right now. Now is when we conquer the demon. Now is when we slay the dragon. We are burning the bridges that need to be burned. We are breaking the cycles that need to be broken. Anything that has blinded us to our own personal power, okay? Any states of victimhood that have created an identification with states of weakness that have detached us from the truth of our mission. Chiron in the sign of Aries, you guys, like, this is not gonna continue to go on. We are taking back, we are awakening on some level to a personal truth of where our personal power has been stolen, where our creativity has been stripped from us somehow, or maybe we just haven't been able to access it because of whatever we've been attached to that has been keeping us detached from, our true mission in the sign of Aries. And we're gonna be feeling, I feel like, kind of fired up to do what needs to be done to heal ourselves, to assert ourselves, to make a positive change, to free ourselves, to liberate ourselves from something. That's another thing. The Aries point is like the ultimate, also like break the chains, liberation for the sake of liberation, freedom for the sake of freedom type of energy. And it has a lot to do with authenticity, and it has a lot to do with like the real and like the ultimate truth of things as well. And that is also what Uranus and Jupiter do. There are big truths, big revelations, big awakenings that are literally probably going to change us on some real deep levels as a result of what we are overcoming within ourselves as this energy transpired. Things are probably going to get shaky as a result of all of this. Our task is to not doubt ourselves and our capabilities in the face of fears, in the face of challenges. This is all about fearlessness, right? Like that is our way up and above and through whatever could be very turbulent underneath. We are learning to trust ourselves again, or more, or for the first time, but that is a part of this as well. A lot of people are going to be learning things that literally like blow their world apart, blow their paradigm apart, are extremely hard for them to accept and digest. This is going to lead and contribute to a lot of the mental health issues that are surfacing right now, and people generally losing their minds, very, very impulsive, reckless energy on the low octave, low end of things. This could also bring about, though, you know, as I will continue to state, some very highly fated, highly destined, positive, productive, and unexpected opportunities for growth, for connections, resources, assets, relationships, luck, abundance, things suddenly shifting in our favor in an unexpected way somehow. Fated changes that have to do with basically what we have, what we want, and what we're building going forward. And again, probably for a lot of people, going to be realigning the trajectory and the goals that they thought they were working towards. The spiritual battle, spiritual awakening component of all of this, though, is really what is captivating, you know, my attention when I look at this particular Cazimi chart for Jupiter and Uranus together. Such a dichotomy, you guys, between the forces of light, the forces of conscious awareness and conscious utilization of the human willpower, and the forces of darkness, the subconscious forces, and the power that is held in a state of lacking awareness. Okay. Dark and light, conscious versus unconscious, even down again to the square that we have playing out, this face off between the sun and Pluto and Mars and the black moon and Pluto at the Eris point. And as we also in the energy of Saturday, we also have the moon in the sign of Virgo, happens to be in an exact, at the Cazimi moment, as you guys see right here, it happens to be an exact opposition to Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces. Moon opposing Neptune, you guys, this is also like in Virgo and Pisces, what is real and what is not, what is fact and what is fiction, what is truth and what is illusion, what is rational and what is like imagination, or like linear and unlinear, you know what I mean? Moon opposite Neptune. This transit, you know, in isolation, just on its own, has a tendency of activating subconscious complexes also, which then have a tendency of being reflected in our moods, considering the moon rules our emotions and our moods and, you know, how we're feeling about stuff. Moon opposite Neptune also sets off these subconscious processes, which we then have a tendency of reacting out of subconscious programming. In, you know, it triggers our subconscious programming. Okay, we've got a moon Neptune opposition going on, so that is another energy that is emphasizing, we're talking about sun square Pluto, that is the consciousness, the life force, versus, you know, the unconsciousness, the shadow, the subconsciousness, 90-degree aspect. Mars versus the black moon, exact opposition, the conscious willpower up against the power of the unconscious mind in the sign of Virgo, the subconscious mind. And then the moon also in Virgo, opposite Neptune, also in Pisces, emphasizing that again. And then, you know, like I said, we've got Chiron, though, at the Eris point, the highest form of ourselves has arrived at the battle. Okay, the spiritual warrior in all the highest octave, the highest representation of that, the master spiritual warrior is on the stage. And then also Jupiter and Uranus coming together, the supersized amplification of the great rectifier, the great awakener, the one who puts things back on track the way that they're supposed to be. Yes, there is a battle. There's a spiritual battle, dark and light playing out. But that, as I said, the outcome of this is very, very clear. The light shines into the darkness, and the awareness that that creates is what wins via the massive change and the personal self-empowerment that it produces in its outcome. Okay, so we've got all this energy facing off against our own illusions, our own fears, our own shadows, our own underworld, and the power perhaps that it has held over us in the past. But we also have all of this energy, including Chiron at the literal Eris point, just in time to, you know, gain the awakening, where we receive the empowerment to slay the demon, okay, to save the day, to be the hero in our own story. North Node in Aries right now, to really truly enter into our own personal leadership era. And, you know, essentially it is this breakthrough, this personal breakthrough into a totally new paradigm or era of our experience of ourselves in this lifetime. We are given the opportunity right now to become a totally different, a totally renewed person without changing bodies. But I will say our bodies will begin to change to reflect the new state of the dweller existing within them as we move through this period of time, especially over the next 20 years. I think that people are going to start changing a lot. Okay, so it's profound on the holistic level, and on this channel where we're narrating the shift of the ages, I cannot look at this energy in isolation. Like, I have to look at this in terms of everything that's going on, how it all connects, how it all fits together, and what it means in the greater scope of the unfolding cosmic blueprint that currently is transitioning us into the age of Aquarius and beyond. Okay, this is, it's very challenging to put in words. It is such like a vast tapestry to try to like explain the intricacies of and like how it all fits together. So I hope I've done a halfway decent job. But an energetic gateway, you guys, representing personal evolution through transmuting and alchemizing these Chiron keywords and this skills and gifts that Chiron brings, transmuting and alchemizing energetically who we were before into who we're becoming now. This is Phoenix energy, you guys. We're going through our Phoenix era, taking back power, taking back our life force and our destiny. And literally, like, as I'm wrapping this up, there's a thunderstorm rolling in. I don't know if you guys heard that thunder back there, but maybe we'll get a lightning strike here in a minute. Also, though, you know, taking back our power, our life force, and our destiny, global revolution, spiritual awakening, all of that and more, you guys. Sunday is also a huge day. Let's talk a bit about Sunday now. Sunday, we've got, as I, mentioned earlier, Venus and Chiron exactly in alignment at the Eris point, breaking off the chains of the previous states of victimhood. We are being released from the wounds of the past that have defined who we've been and played like a significant role in our ability to like become who we're truly meant to become. That's what all this means to me. Sun square Pluto exactly on Sunday. Sunday's another day of exactness. We got Venus, Chiron exact at the Eris point. We've got Sun exactly square Pluto, 3 degrees of their signs. And the degree where Pluto's at is significant in this whole context as well. Listen to this. We just got done talking about all this. Now listen to this. About how it's, liberating, breaking chains, Eris point, Pluto at 3 degrees of Aquarius. That Sabian symbol is a deserter from the Navy, stands suddenly aware of a dawning truth. Freedom is never the result of compromise. So with a Sun square Pluto exact on Sunday and, coming right out of this cazimi with Venus and Chiron at the Eris point, we could really see some explosive stuff going on. People are not going to be handling anything oppressive, anything restrictive, anything that is limiting or holding back. No. Those days are done, at least, at this point in time. There could really be some quite explosive reactions to things, I would think. Mars, of course, black moon opposition, like that does that as well. And we also have a moon south node conjunction happening on Sunday. That is also karmic release from past circumstances, past attachments, past relationships that have been preventing us from going through the dust and faded phase of accelerated growth that is indicated by everything else that is going on right now. So Sunday, radical transformation, breaking cycles, spiritual awakening. Also, though, perhaps things could definitely be blowing up and getting kind of crazy, out of control, fear-provoking people to do insane things, hyper-impulsive. Again, like this mass hysteria type of energy could be going on, sort of indicated here. Explosive reactions based on fears. Fears of failures could be quite prominent there as a result of the Virgo element. But another thing I want to say, closing out this report, the last time that we had an exact alignment between Jupiter and Uranus go on in the sign of Taurus, this was in the year 1941, which obviously was a very, very significant year historically. I generally don't like to be specific about things related to politics. I don't find it to be useful in terms of the greater, message that's coming through. However, I will say, I do think that there's going to be some type of global revolution against communism or war over themes of having to do with communism somehow. Most likely. This decentralization of power that is being spoken of right now, putting the power back in the hands of the individual to create their own solutions and their own destiny with, this is very, very incompatible with the concepts and the ideas of, the communistic structure. I do think that if we do see wars or battles or very contentious behavior, big stuff like that going on, I do think that it's going to be more individual type of stuff against more communist type of stuff. So that's all I'm going to say about that, but that could really be something that comes up right now as well. Of course, also financial systems, financial revolution in currency, valuation revolution indicated here. There could be some big things with cryptocurrency going on right now. But again, we're going from a centralized model to a decentralized model, and there could be some big time disturbances that go on in the process of getting there, but ultimately it's going to restore a true value somehow, and it's going to empower the individual. So we don't need to have, a fear-based mentality in the context of the changes or the initial appearance of things as we move forward, in this direction. The last thing I want to say, this is also going to end up having been some type of technological or invention revolution as well that is going to re-empower humanity and actually, as I, kind of referenced earlier, lead to some type of evolution of the human species over the course of the next 2,000 years. We are also going to relearn our past and our human history. We're going to come to find that across the board, basically, science, history, even a lot of religious themes and stuff like that are going to be rehashed, and we're going to discover that a lot of what we've been relying on as our fact and our historical facts and stuff like that are actually not exactly so, and they're gonna have to be, there's gonna be a second look at, our entire history across the board, basically, over this period of time. Incredible healing technologies are gonna come as a result of this. We're gonna find out about a lot of suppressed and hidden science, medicine, technologies and stuff that have come about in the past that we haven't had access to until now, restoring the true value of things, right? That's what everything boils down to, inspiring true genius in production and creativity as well. This will end up being a technological revolution. There's also a lot of fear in that regard coming into the age of Aquarius, but we have to remember, you know, while things always play out on multiple octaves and there are going to be ways that this energy manifests that dehumanizes humanity through the technological aspect of things, I do, because this is ultimately about empowering the individual and decentralizing control. I do think that I don't really think that we have like a whole bunch to worry about in terms of like the darker or the more like fear-based side of, you know, sci-fi world or like technological innovation stuff. I don't think that like robots are going to rule the world and we're going to lose ourselves to the machines. I think that we are actually going to become, you know, much smarter and more capable, and as a result of that, of course, have this advanced technology that helps us out in a multitude of ways, but it's not going to be, you know, what dominates over us. The human element of things is what is set to evolve in this energy. So I'm gonna stop talking now, you guys. This is the longest video I've ever done for this channel. If you managed to make it all this way with me, congratulations, because that was an earful. I don't even know how I'm still talking at this point. Let's get a synchronicity card, you guys. God, Spirit, Universe. What should we know? Humor us. What do we need to know? What can benefit us as we move through this time? We got one shooting out. And you guys, the most beautiful message we could get. It says you will be guided. No fear, okay? You will be guided, sent his angel to show the things which shortly must be done. Revelation 22:6. Shortly you will be shown the direction you should take. The way will open up for you to move forward. Seize the opportunity that comes to you. Know you are being divinely guided. Listen to the voice within for guidance. These are highly fated, destined times, you guys. They're gonna be shaky. They're gonna be uncomfortable. There's gonna be uncertainty. There's gonna be insecurity, but there are also gonna be opportunities. There are also going to be blessings. There are also going to be things that happen that pull something out of us that we didn't know was there. But once we realize it was there, it's going to be a total game changer. And, you know, you're going to be guided, and everything is going to be beautiful. It's all going to be lovely. That's what I have to say today, you guys. Message from the stars and my interpretation of what that might mean for us moving forward. So come back with me next time, you guys. Of course, next week. We got more, I mean, it's not stopping. We have a really powerful full moon that we're going to be getting into first thing next week, and another week of big energy, although this last week that we're moving towards, this is the come down. This is where we're going to start processing some things, and we're going to begin to gain a greater level of awareness and understanding of a lot of things that have played out throughout the course of the past several weeks. So I'll be here to talk about it, you guys. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. I will see you next time. Have a beautiful, epic alignment weekend, you guys. And until next time, bye guys.